Well, it is Transformation Tuesday around here. I say to you, good morning. Good morning, good morning. And I am here. Trish, can you do me a favor and check our other podcast, please? Can you hear my sound well on both sides, please and thank you? Okay. Reason I'm asking is because I am on a new device. So thankful for that. Transformation Tuesday is gathered by the thought to change something. What are you going to change? Well, that's what we're going to be discussing, with you figuring out what exactly would you like to see changed with you, about you, and for you, might I add. Transformation, changing into, from something. We're going to hear, no doubt, people who have done that, and we're going to be live and interactive. How about that? Live and interactive are we going to be on this Transformation Tuesday. I want to say welcome to one and all. Let's create for ourselves. I don't know how to enunciate your name. The one that just joined in, can you help us out here? This is Transformation Tuesday, and welcome to Vibe Talk. And our call button is up. We welcome your calls. We are talking about this thought. Understand that the hardest times in life to go through are when you are transitioning from one version of yourself to another. And that's what we're going to be talking about. Our Vibe Talk question is, thank you, Trish. Our Vibe Talk question for the day is, what have you changed? Some people change into one set of clothes, out of and into. Some people change their hairstyles. Some people change their way of eating. The list goes so on and so forth. So the top of the morning, I'm going to ask my co-host, what is something that you have changed? We are live and interactive today. We hope that Vibe Talk provides for you understanding of yourself, connection within yourself, to yourself, and impact to motivate you to make a change. You see, changes should be done by natural process, not because someone tells you that you need to change. It's kind of like you seeing something about another person and you say you need to change that when they don't see a need for change. It's only when you feel a need or see a need to change that you will do it. Just like the butterfly's natural process. My co-host says, I've changed my mindset into a more positive way. Instead of saying, this always happens to me, I say there's a reason. I like that. I've also changed my reaction to negative energy. I feel that that's important. It's been a bit of a hard struggle for me. Good morning, Gio. And I'm so glad you've joined. We're asking the Vibe Talk question. What is something that you have changed? We're going to be talking about change because today in Vibe Talk is transformation, which means change. What is something that you have found that you've changed? That is the question today. We talk a lot about butterfly metaphor. I chose that because it is the most delicate to me, and yet when it changes is out of something into something, it's so beautiful. And that's what you all can become. You all are like the butterflies that can be representation of something coming out of something that was rough, something that was dark, into something beautiful and light. To love yourself, to represent yourself, just as if you were a butterfly. So we're going to be talking. There is a weather storm in where my co-host is, so she's not able to get on with a stable signal. So let's respect that. I'm going to be reading her thoughts, and if she gets stabilization, I know she'll come in and join. So let's all be considerate of that. As you see, it put up a new notice, and these are Vibe Talk's requirements. Kindness. For every person that comes in here, I want you to be gentle, kind, and sensitive. To add with that, add a little sympathy. Understanding that each individual that comes into this virtual room has something they're dealing with. Even if you're not going through that particular situation, can you have a little bit of empathy? Let's start here today. Vibe Talk requires a lot of listening. As I listen to you, I expect the same from you, to listen, because that's the only way you're going to get something out of this wellness class, this wellness session. We can be found where, Trish? Where can we be found? And on both sides, if you can, please and thank you. Oh, you need the button. Sorry about that. There you are. She does such a beautiful job, Trish. She really does. I appreciate all of her work. Top 10 Vibe Talk is. Thank you so much. Vibe Talk has Direct Connect. That's for you to leave your comments, your inspiration. If you want us to tell your story, we'd love to have you do that. You can leave us with a voicemail, and it is texting accessible. We have YouTube channels. I gotta say, I had to take the time out of my day to really thank Trish for all of the videos that are being put up. She actually sees my vision. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, Trish, for all that you do. So Vibe Talk has made many changes. If you guys were with us when we first started going live about a year ago, almost 2 years, you have noticed the changes. Isabella, good morning and welcome to Vibe Talk. We're asking the question, what are you thankful for and why? Let's not forget that as we go in our conversations. What are you thankful for, Isabella, and why? I am thankful for Transformation Tuesday. Why am I thankful? Because it gives an opportunity for us to require something from ourselves. How many of you have a requirement from yourself? I'm going to use some words of empowerment. I use requirement, but how many of you require something from yourself? How many of you expect something? My co-host says she does. How many of you expect something from yourself? Expectation from you. I do. My co-host Trish says she does. Expectation. We're going to be able to understand why change of something within us is important. You know, it's almost as important as you changing your wardrobe. How many of you have found something in your closet and you said, I'm going to wear this today? And then as you put it on, you change your mind. How many of you have ever done that? I've done that. Anybody else? You've done that too? My co-host says. So as you feel the need to do that, why do you feel the need to change into something else? Let's kind of get a feel, I need to use proper grammar. Why do you get a feel of changing your wardrobe? Changing your wardrobe. You want to tell us, Trish? Because that's what we're going to be talking about. And our hope is that someone gets this podcast today while they're making changes. We're going to talk about some of the changes that we've had to make and how we accept it. Accept change. See, you talked about expectation. Now I want to talk about accepting. Accepting something. Change. Why? Because it's always happening. Trish, when you get a minute, we want you to tell us about the why do you change wardrobes so that they can get a feel of their need to do so. I change wardrobe sometimes because maybe I'm not feeling that today, you know? Or maybe I'm not quite matching. Change. Change is good. That's a statement. But now I want you to turn it into a question. Is change good? See, I made a statement. Change is good. Trish says the need for her changing into a wardrobe or out of wardrobe because of her mood or that it doesn't fit anymore. The need for change. We are forever changing. When I look back at my life, I see changes that I made. Some changes are not always fun. Some changes are uncertain. Some changes, just like the butterfly's cocoon, is gooey, sticky, not so warm and inviting. If that's been your change, we're going to talk about it, the changes, because we're all making changes. And if you say that you're not making change, then maybe today is your day to make a change of something. We all do it. Changes are like decisions. Changes are like decisions. We're forever making decisions. Vibe Talk. Trish and I are forever working on changes. How we want Vibe Talk to look for the year. We discuss that. So making decisions are going to require some kind of change. My co-host Trish says, I agree, some changes are very hard because it's like not just you change, but everything around you changes. So true that is. Thank you for that. Change. Getting adjusted to the environment. We speak butterfly around here, the butterfly language. The language of change, the language of transformation. We speak that way because we expect change. There would be no butterflies if the caterpillar never changed. Think about that. Think about that. It has to adapt to its surroundings. A butterfly or a caterpillar doesn't wonder what it's like to be a butterfly. It doesn't wonder that. It's just a process. I always refer to the book, The Hungry Caterpillar. I'm going to give you guys something very, very basic. Go get that book, put it on your audio, and read and reread. Because there's a message in that. The hungry caterpillar ate and ate and ate and ate. Why did that, yes, why did it eat and eat and eat and eat? Well, it needed the nourishment to be prepared to become that beautiful butterfly. That's the moral of the story. So when we think of nourishment, we must do that in order to make changes. Are you finding that you are feeding your soul? Yourself. That's what the soul is. Feeding yourself. Are you giving yourself food for thought? Are you thinking about your changes? Because in order to have thought about your change, there you are. Good morning.
Good morning.
So good to have you. I don't know if my sound is loud enough. Okay. So, the changes that we need to make. You see, going back to the very hungry caterpillar, he didn't just change like that. He had to first nourish himself. And for us who are going through changes, we understand that. We understand that in order to prepare ourselves, we must feed ourselves. Some of the things the caterpillar ate. My goodness, he ate everything in sight. Nourishing your soul to be able to change means knowledge. That is, that eating that the butterfly did was in comparison to feeding the soul, feeding yourself. Dee, hello. Welcome to Vibe Talk. Trish, do you want to say anything to Dee? So glad you joined us.
Good morning, Dee. What state are you listening in from, and what are you thankful for and why?
Yeah, that's the question. We have a personal Vibe Talk question as well. After you have come in, Vibe Talk is all about your wellness and your becoming a better version of yourself. Today, we're going to talk about how we make those changes. Our Vibe Talk question is, Asia. Wow. Welcome. Welcome. I love it when continents and countries and all of these places come in. All the way from Asia is D. Thank you so much. Good morning, Carrie McMurray. Good morning, good morning. We're talking about the changes. Carrie, congratulations on your real estate. So proud of you. So proud. You are a go-getter and you inspire me. I love you and I appreciate you. Thank you for joining. Carrie, what changes have you made? Speaking of real estate, what changes have you made to become your best self? So glad you've joined us, Carrie. I've known Carrie, that is my soul sister, definitely. Known her a long time, and she's always inspired me. And that's what we're asking today. Her state is Las Vegas. Welcome. We, ladies and gentlemen, need change in our lives. Just like that butterfly, you need to transition from past to present. How many of you feel stuck in your past? You're in the gooiness of your own cocoon. How many of you feel stuck? Anybody? Because I'll tell you what, sometimes butterflies are stuck while gaining their wings. By nature's process, they learn how to unstick themselves. How many of you have got unstuck from a not so good situation? I love it. Carrie says, when I left my job, I felt the transition back in 2020. Wow. Wow. So glad. You know, I want to say this about you, Carrie, that I've always appreciated for the years that I've known you, is that you are soaring, but you remind me of the Energizer battery, because no matter how many times I see you, you just keep reinventing yourselves. I love that about you. Nothing stops you. I've known you for so many years, and I appreciate that. How many of you feel unstoppable? I do. There is nothing in my life that I cannot accomplish. If I say that I want to become this, that is what I do. See, the doing is action words. See, sometimes we get stuck in life and we think about things. Carrie says, every day I feel unstoppable. Every day, she says, she feels unstoppable. And that's the energy of Vibe Talk. We have been running almost for 2 years. I'm so proud of this project. There's never a day where I feel stuck. But I'll tell you about my past. I have been stuck in making decisions. How did I get myself out of the ooey gooiness of the personal cocoon? I decided that I wanted to get up, stand up, get out of. We call those ruts in our life. How many of us have been stuck in a rut? maybe stuck in a rut in a hut, sounding like Dr. Seuss, but reality sets in. Anybody, Trish, have you ever felt stuck in a rut?
I have.
Yeah. You want to tell us about that because you're going to empower somebody. And Carrie, this is interactive, so keep your comments. I'm so glad to have her. That is my soul sister indeed. Trish, you want to tell us about it?
I'd say depression was my rut that I was stuck in.
Yeah.
But I got out of it. I got out of the depression though. It was very hard to get out of it because when you're in that state, it's like it's impossible. You think it's impossible.
Yeah. In case you're wondering, Carrie, we're on Facebook platform and another platform. Trish, are you there with our guest to welcome them?
Yes, I am.
Okay, can you send a hello to Carrie so that she knows that you're there? Please and thank you. So now, our butterfly movement is always representation of change, transitioning yourself. How do you do it? We're going to be talking about that, transitioning ourselves. First off, we need to recognize and acknowledge. We need to recognize. You can. Carrie wants to speak. Our direct connect, we're going to put her on direct connect. Because I'd like Carrie to tell us a little bit about that change. I'm already knowing about the change that she had to make, and I'll let her tell you her story because I have a few questions. Carrie, Trish, can you give her the direct connect phone and we'll put her on this line? Please and thank you. And it's direct connect. We're going to let you connect to the line so you can tell your story. I'm excited. Love to hear her speak. The number is 661-503-8993. Carrie, we're waiting for your call to hear from you as we talk about transition and changes. And we want you to give advice. Give some advice to the people that are out there. Give some advice because somebody somewhere is going to need this empowerment today. It's funny that you should join us because I love to hear your positiveness. We are waiting for a caller to be on our line. You still here? 661-503-8993. I will let you through. The other podcast has their number for that. Otherwise, I would put you on here. But you're going to be able to be. Okay. It is 661-503-8993. Ladies and gentlemen, you can use it for live or you can use it to text and even send us your comments and inspiration. Thank you, Trish, for being on that side. I'm so glad to have a co-host. I'm so glad, all the way from South Carolina. Thank you, Trish. We realize that your state is having thunderstorms. Anybody had a thunderstorm? We sure had. Did it rain where you are? There you go. We are hooking her up. Good morning.
Great rising, everyone.
Can you guys hear her okay? Everybody?
Yes.
Okay.
Can I hear me?
Yep.
Oh, okay. First, I want to say great rising to everyone. I was just walking out. I was outside doing my morning exercise, and I just turned on my phone. Like, oh my goodness, I got to join.
I love it.
Okay, first, I've been knowing Nisi since we were, oh my goodness, we were in our 20s.
Yes.
That's a long time. That is my soul sister. Well, what I want to share with you, ladies and gentlemen, back in 2020, right when the pandemic had started, I had to make a decision for myself as well as for my father.
Mm-hmm.
And when I chose my father, and I decided to take care of him, oh my goodness. Yeah, my job, they were upset because I left abruptly.
Mm-hmm.
But from that moment, I felt, I don't know, something came over me. I felt like I was freeing myself from 17 years. I'm just going to say it. I felt like I was in bondage.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't even know it.
Mm-hmm.
And then from that moment, I started working on myself. And things kept coming to me in YouTube, on Facebook platform, on social media. Things kept coming to me. And I'm like, oh my goodness, what is this all about?
Mm-hmm.
So when I started working on caring, I started really feeling it.
Mm-hmm.
When I started loving me first, I started feeling it. And that's when I woke up. That's when the healing started. I'm still healing daily. And I get emotional. I talk about it.
Girl, you're making me cry.
I have to get up every morning. I have to see the sunrise. I have to say thank you. I have to be grateful. Because I decided to take the opportunity and work on me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I realized all of these opportunities that I missed along the way in my journey.
Mm-hmm.
And I am a 50-something-year-old woman. I realized that all the distraction that was outside of me, that was blocking me to find my purpose, and my purpose was me.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if any of you ladies or gentlemen felt that. But I'm still a butterfly. I'm still in that cocoon. I'm still growing. And I know it's going to take a lifetime before I actually get to my highest peak. But I love the journey that I'm on, and I'm so happy I decided to chose me.
Yeah. Trish, do you want to say anything to Carrie? Because I have lots to say, and this conversation can go on for the next 2 hours. Carrie, we have my co-host, Trish. Trish, would you like to ask her anything, and anybody else out there?
Wow. First
Yeah.
of all, I just wanted to say, like, that inspired me a lot.
Thank you.
And the question I want to ask is, like, how did you know that you had to choose you at the end of the day? Because that's very hard for me sometimes, that to decide, oh, I have to see what's good for me first.
You know, that's a deep work. It took, because I started in 2020. So that's something daily. That's something that you have to fight for. And when I say you got to fight for it, you got to tell people outside of you, no. You have to tell them no, because You got to always choose you first, because you got to realize, if I say yes to this person or yes to any situation, how is that going to make me feel? Am I going to feel good in it by saying yes? Or is it going to make me feel uneasy? And I don't like feeling uneasy anymore, because I used to always say yes. And I used to always regret it. And I don't want to live with regrets. I release regrets, and I say no, and I say yes to myself. You understand that?
You got hearts going up, baby.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you have to choose you first. And it might hurt some people along the way, but it's fine, because you have to make sure that you are, number one, you have to make sure that you're taken care of first. And that goes for family, friends, and sometimes our children, because we have to make sure we're taken care of first in order to take care of our little ones.
Yeah.
And that's not saying you're a bad person. You have to make sure you take care of self first.
Yeah. And that's self-caring. You know,
Self-care.
Carrie, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go right ahead. I'm sorry. Go right ahead.
No.
Any more questions?
Go ahead.
Because I get to going.
No, we love it. I'm so glad you're on this podcast today.
Thank you.
Go ahead. What were you saying?
You have to take care of self. That is the bottom. No, not the bottom line. That's the top of the line. Because remember, you're first. Remember, you're first in anything. Anything you do. You are first. And you have to take care of first. And when you take care of yourself first, people around you that love you, they will understand that. And the people that don't understand that, it's okay. They will come on board later. Because they don't know themselves either. But when you decide to choose you, it feels so good. Because right now, I'm feeling good. But it's still a journey. It's still a journey.
My question for you is, when you started to make the transition, because your line of work, you were a nurse. You had a terribly busy schedule helping others, and this was during the time of the pandemic. And I remember you saying something that was, it was an aha moment for me, when you said you were, when they were giving you grief because you wanted to wear a mask and they didn't want you to wear a mask.
No, yes.
And you decided, okay.
Yes, they didn't want me to, when we had the PPE shortage, and I knew my job with all the PPE. Because I was on a lot of committees where I used to work. I had on a lot of committees. I was there to change everything. But when it came down, when it became my turn, and then when I really wanted to protect myself at that defining moment, I wasn't given that opportunity. And they wanted me to go pick up a person. Yes, they did have COVID. They wanted me to go all the way downstairs to ER to go get this person without any protection. After, we've always had we used to have in-services, and we did an in-service on protection. We had this hooded mask and this particular gown. In case we've had a highly contagious person that came into our hospital, we could use it. They denied me that. They denied me my PPE. And that day, it was just a defining moment for me. And I said, how can people that I love, and I truly love these people, I gave them my all, than to treat me like this, to tell me no. And then I was thinking about my father. My father is 80. He was 80 something years. So I was taking care of him at home, and I didn't want to bring nothing to my family because this was we didn't know nothing about it. This was all new. So in that moment, this went on from 6 o'clock in the morning all the way up to 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I was defending myself. And I was defending myself with words, kind words than that.
Now,
and they still chose to tell me no.
Yeah. And so what did you do and I'm going to re-ask that question because the story you just told, it's such a defining moment for everyone. Like you're saying about choosing yourself, you self-cared in a very literal way. What did you do that day when you were at your hospital? You said what? And she moved it to action.
Oh my goodness.
I love this story.
I don't want to tell the actual words of my head. Oh my God. I'm just going to say this. From 6 o'clock in the morning, I had my charge nurse, the clinical director. We all in meetings about the situation. Since I kept saying no, because I was saying no, I'm not, because I want to be protected. They sent someone from the fourth floor, because I worked on the third floor, to come to me to threaten me. And at that point, I didn't know, because there was a lot of other stuff going on, and I didn't know I was supposed to go pick someone from the ER. Said, get this wheelchair, and you're going to take this wheelchair, and you're going to go downstairs and go pick up that person. I said, pick up who? I was confused at that time. And it was, she told me, and she said this in front of all my peers. And at that moment, I just stopped what I was doing. I took my gloves off. I turned around, and I started. And I didn't know what I was doing. My mind, I didn't know what I was about to do. But I kept walking towards the back of the nurse's station. And the young lady that came from the fourth floor, she was like, Carrie, can we talk? Can we talk? Can we talk in the conference room? I told her, I said, that's too late. I said, I'm so tired of y'all disrespect. And I'm walking. And she's like, Carrie, let's just talk. Come on, let's talk. Because I'm going to tell you this. I was very valuable to them. Okay? But at the final moment, I went to the computer, I tapped out, and I clocked out. I just clocked out at that point. I went to my locker, I cleared my locker, because at that moment, I knew I was never coming back. I've never, ever been attacked like that for those many hours, especially when I was standing in my truth. And they knew I knew the law. And I was quoting the law. They didn't care about what I was saying at all.
Yeah.
And I just left. And when I left, I couldn't believe what I was doing, but I was walking away from my career, and I was walking away from something I love, but I chose me at that defining moment. And when I walked out to the parking lot, then I realized I didn't have my car. I said, oh, well, so I just kept walking, because I forgot my car was in the shop. And I'm walking, I just felt I felt free. And when I say I felt free, I felt like at that moment I was running away from and I don't want to say this, I just felt like I was running away from my master. And I felt like a slave in that moment. And I never felt like that, ever.
Free.
The chains were broke at that moment. And I didn't realize what I was about to do. But I came home and I took care of my father for the next couple of years. And I took care of him because I did not want him to be in one of these homes out here because I knew how to operate. And I knew my father wouldn't have lasted a month, especially during the COVID.
Mm-hmm. And so you've always been a people person. From the moment I met you.
I am a people person. I love people. I love making people happy, smile, everything. I love to be positive. I love people come to me and ask me. They always ask me questions. And this is, oh my goodness, why is this person asking me such personal questions? But it was something pertaining to them.
Yes. Yes.
And I always, and I know what coming from me was coming from the divine, someone higher than me. They always made sure I said the right words at the right time, the right moment, for that particular person.
Now I want to ask you, how did you transition from nursing into the real estate? For anybody that thinks that, you're going to have people on here that have lost their jobs and think, woe is me. I say wow to you.
Okay. Well, you never knew this, Nisi, but I always wanted to be a real estate agent when I was younger. I tried when I was in my early 30s, but I couldn't complete the course because I had little ones. So there was a lot of outside distractions outside that I couldn't focus to do it.
Yeah.
Then I tried it again in my 40s. Too many outside distractions. I couldn't put it in because I was working my 12-hour shifts. My kids were so busy in sports, I still couldn't do it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now here I'm 57, ladies and gentlemen. I have on my email, Groupon kept popping up, and then kept popping up. And I said, and this went on for quite a while, and I said, is this for me? Because I keep seeing this.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided in that defining moment this year, January.
You're getting hearts, ladies.
I can pass this up.
Mm-hmm.
That was mid-January. February, right after my birthday, I completed the class. March, they wanted me to take the test. I said, no, I'm not ready. Let me study. April, I went past the test. May, I finally received my license.
Congratulations.
And the only reason why I was able to do all that, because I've been working for me, and I had been choosing me. I had started saying no to people, and I started saying yes to me, and I started working on me. I started getting up and writing down affirmations. I started watching the sunrise, the sunset, go to the park and walk in nature, just because I was working on me. I didn't know that it was going to lead me back into real estate.
So you literally had a foundation because, houses are built on foundation, and you took your house of human thought and house of positivity and built from there and became a real estate person.
Yes, I became a real estate agent. But I'm not going to say it was easy. Nothing comes easy, but you have to fight for it. That's what you have to say. No, I'm sorry. I don't mean to hurt you, but I have to. Sometimes they get upset. People get upset when you say no.
Yeah.
You got to make sure you say yes to yourself. I'm going to say yes to myself. I say no.
I hope you all are listening. We can take so much home from Carrie, and it was just, Carrie, it's perfect timing for you to be here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hold on. Don't leave yet. Trish, do you have anything that you want to say to Carrie all the way from Las Vegas, Nevada?
I think Trish is my cousin because she's a Scot.
That's right. Your last name was, that's right. Your last name was Scott. Trish, can you hear us?
I can hear.
Do you have anything that you want to interchange with Carrie? Anything you want to say? Good morning. For those of you who are coming in, please tell us what your states are, please and thank you. Go ahead, Trish.
I just want to say that, first of all, I'm in tears right now because it's, your story impacted me a lot, and I just really needed to hear that today. You inspired me deeply. You are a true butterfly to me.
Yes.
Oh, thank you.
And you've always had your wings. You've always had them. You've always had them, Carrie.
Thank you.
For as long as I've known you, you're energetic. You always knew what you wanted. And like you said about the distractions, some of us aren't realizing the distractions that we do have in place. And then, Jehovah God moves those distractions for us to fly free.
Yes.
Fly free. Because it wasn't your time. I love how you talked about the ad from Groupon. You kept seeing that.
Mm-hmm.
And people have to realize there is always a reason for that. I always believe that. Always believe it. And Carrie, with that being said, as a true butterfly that you really are in nature, you love the people. It was meant for you for all of that to happen, even though the journey was a gooey, maybe even painful. It was meant for you to go through that to become what you are.
Oh, yeah.
Within yourself, how has this changed you, Carrie, going through that natural process, the caterpillar phase, we're going to call it? How has that changed you, those experiences in your life?
Well, I look at life differently now. I look at people different, and I'm learning to love people for who they are instead of being judgmental. I don't know if you guys understand that.
Yeah, I understand it.
Yes. So you're going to always have that same scenario coming up in your life, and how I used to react to life in those same scenarios, when they come back up again, and I don't react the way I react, then I know I changed. I know I changed. I said, oh my goodness. Because I don't feel that pain anymore. Because I release that pain. Not the pain from my head, but the pain from my gut, the pain that was in my heart. I had to release things that were painful for me. I had to forgive myself for things I may have done, things I may have said, and I had to forgive myself for any interaction that came my way that made me feel uncomfortable. But once I started forgiving Carrie and releasing pain and bringing love into play, and letting love be my healing, whether it's good or whether it's bad. And I'm not saying you gotta accept the ugliness that's going on. No, that's where you say no to that. Mm-hmm. That's where your love starts coming. When you start loving yourself, you just have to say, you're not truly mean that. You have to say no. Mm-hmm. So once I get to love and carry it, and I'm going to share a story too. I'm trying to get it.
We love it.
While I was going through, and I didn't know I was going through a spiritual journey. When I was going through my transitioning phase, mm-hmm. I was want to learn everything. Like, why is everybody upset with Kanye West? Because he said this. Let me do some research. And once I started doing my research on certain things that people were saying and why, and I'm like, wow, this young man is really brilliant. I didn't pay him any attention.
Didn't I say that, Trish? Did we not have a conversation about that?
Yes, we did.
Yeah, go ahead, Carrie.
This man is brilliant. I'm like, wow. Because he's on the truth path, on that spiritual path that they want to get out. Mm-hmm. Because I'm like, wow, I didn't know this. Mm-hmm. And once I start getting on my spiritual path, there used to be this bird that used to come every day and sit on my patio. I'm like, why is that bird there? Then a dog came to my door, scratching on my door, and then he was on my patio. Then there was a gentleman on my patio. Mm-hmm. And that day I was like, oh my God, I can get off my patio. But he just looked at me. There was no fear in his eye. He just looked at me. Mm-hmm. And the man just got up and he jumped over the patio and he left. And then I started saying, oh my goodness, what is that all about? Mm-hmm. What is that all about? Mm-hmm. And to this day, I want to know, what was that all about? Because at that moment, I was like, every morning, 3 o'clock, every morning, writing stuff down. Mm-hmm. Every morning. I was doing it consistently. And it kind of scared me a little because they said, you do get scared. So I kind of took a step back because now I said, maybe I was going too fast. Let me take it slow. Because I don't know what that was all about. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I didn't know.
You know, we talk a lot in here about our healing journey. Mm-hmm. You know, when you think about it, I liken it because everything starts from childhood. All the feelings that we have, everything sets a pathway for us. And I kind of liken it to the Wizard of Oz. You know, everybody on that journey needed something.
Oh, yeah.
They needed something, but then in the long run, they had to face their challenges.
Yes.
And what they found out is they already had the things that they thought they needed. And that's with us. That is why we are butterflies. We turn ourselves into butterflies by nature's process of the broken or the pain that we have to go through. For every pain, there's a positive. I will always believe that.
Yes, that's true.
What do you think?
I just have one more to say.
No worries. You're good.
Thank you. Also been healing my inner child. My inner child. The child that was broken. Mm-hmm. The child that felt abandoned. The child that cried so many nights. The child that made him hungry. The child that didn't receive what she needed. Parenting. Her parents. So I had to start healing my inner child. And I had to start talking to my inner child, talking to my inner self. Mm-hmm. And letting my inner child know that she's safe with me. Mm-hmm. Letting my child know that you're going to have to forgive those who hurt you because now you're free.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have to start loving those people because you're free from all that.
Mm-hmm.
All that pain. And I had to start with my inner child, and then also I had to forgive my parents because they weren't given the great skills to raise children when children are having.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of soul searching I've been doing. And with my mom, I had to start loving her for who she is.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to start giving her those
Don't you
hugs,
make me cry, girl.
I had to think about what she was saying. I don't know how to love.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to be soft. I don't know how to feel you. You know, because she always said I wore my heart on my sleeve.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't like that, but that was one of my greatest characteristics.
Yeah, you're very sensitive, but that's what makes the world so unique with people like you.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, baby.
So in my healing, I'm also being healed and healing my mother as well.
Mm-hmm.
One day she came over just out of the blue, and she was talking some stuff to my father.
We're laughing because we know her mom, and we love her. We know her.
She was telling my father, my mother is married. My mother has another husband of 40-something years, and I'm taking care of my father. And she's coming over telling my father he owes her money.
You know she gonna kill us, right? You already know.
It's okay. So she's telling my father he owes her money. And so I had to tell my mom, I said, Mom, leave my tenant alone. I had to talk, make light of it.
Yeah.
Leave my tenant alone. She said, he owes me. She said, well, I said, Mama, we're in 2021. So this is not like 1960. I said, come on out here. And I made my mother sit down in a chair, and I sat right in front of her.
I love it.
And I held her hands, both hands. I cupped each hand in my hand.
I love it.
And I just started asking her questions. And I said, Mom, why does it hurt to love? I said, you don't love me? She said, I do love you. I love you. I said, and so I'm holding her, and I'm talking life into her. And she's squirming in the chair. She's like, Carrie, what are you doing to me? I said, Mom, just hold my hands.
Mm-hmm.
I said, how did this feel?
Oh,
said,
girl, you're making me cry.
But she was feeling my energy.
Yeah.
And it was scaring her. And she was squirming. And then she let go of my hand. She stood up and she ran to the door. And I walked right behind her. And I said, Mama, before you go, let me hug you. So I hugged her, not tight, just enough so that she could feel my love. And
acceptance and awareness.
And I was just telling her, I said, Mom, love is nice. Mm-hmm. Love is beautiful. And words just kept coming to me. Mm-hmm. And she was trying to get out of that hug. Mm-hmm. But because I had her, so it was just a gentle hug. She could not get out of that hug at all. And I just hugged her, and I kissed her, and then I released her. Mm-hmm. And then she kind of fell back a little on the wall. And she was like, what did you do to me? I said, Mom, I love you.
Yeah, affirmations.
And then she walked out the door. She said, I'm not coming back. I said, Mom, I said, I'm coming back for love. And then she stopped. She said, I'll be back. My mother, she was messed up for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
For 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But I only just told you the light of it. You know, there was other words coming out of my mouth that was touching her. But it was, I was showing her and also giving her the energy, love that I also wanted her to have, because she said she's never been loved. No one's never hugged her. No one's ever. And so I told her, well, I'm going to start loving you. I'm going to start hugging you.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so she stayed away from me for 2 weeks, and then she finally came back over, and she wanted another hug. But we all know my mom.
Yeah.
My mom, she's more, she's not passive.
No.
She's not a passive woman.
No. Not at all.
But she's becoming passive.
Yeah.
Just because of that. And I had to forgive her and everything. And I had to talk to her and let her know, how can I expect you to give me the right tools when you weren't given
Right.
the tools?
Right.
That goes from generation to generation. Mm-hmm. So I would just say this before I go. And I have a quote that I say every day. And it says, I honor my ancestors by liberating myself. I release generational trauma.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all I say. And I say that daily because I'm releasing the trauma that has been bestowed from this day forward and behind. I want all that to be released from everyone that's behind me while I'm moving forward.
Yeah,
change. I want to be the difference.
Yeah, because it is passed down from generation to generation. Yeah, it's so true, Carrie. You spoke deeply. Trish, do you want to say anything? And by the way, I did not plan this, but Carrie, you filled in the gap today. Thank you. We're not done with you yet. Trish, do you have anything you want to add to this conversation?
No, I'm just listening.
I'm sorry.
No. Why are you sorry? No, we're going to tag you in this and everything. We want everybody to hear this. Because, that thing, and Carrie, it was so empowering the way you broke the chain from what had been done with your mom and not being able to accept love.
Yes.
You broke something, and that's something that we all still dare to do with our parent. No one has a perfect parent.
No.
But they raise us according to what they have been given. Carrie talked about tools.
Exactly.
And so we have to show them, we have to master those tools. And I love the way you grabbed her hand so that she could feel what you were saying.
Yes.
I love that. I love that. And we can learn so much. Parents, don't ever say you can't learn from your children, because we can learn from them.
Oh, that too, because they're pure and they're honest and they love everybody.
I absolutely enjoy talking to you, your energy. You think this is something just over the airwaves? When you get to know Carrie, she's like this every day. and feeding into what her wisdom is. Sometimes, ladies and gentlemen, we're afraid to transition from the knowledge and the energy of other people. That can help bridge the gap between our gooey feelings into that butterfly feeling of freedom.
Yes.
And we need to learn from other people. You know, some of us are so prideful that, you know, we don't want help. We're afraid to get the help when we know we need the help. We hope this interview has helped you because it is meant to change lives. And Carrie, you were so honest.
Thank you.
I appreciated that. I appreciated your willingness to stop on by and share with your stories. You are very bright. From the moment I met her, I loved her. And I will never forget when you came to your mother's house and you had your baby in your arms. And it was like we had known each other forever.
Yes.
So your wisdom and your knowledge, keep passing that. You know, each day you're going to give somebody a butterfly.
Yes.
Because that's what you're doing.
Yes.
And so keep feeding them with that.
Yes.
Is there anything you want to say in conclusion? We want to say thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Wow, what a treat.
Just remember, every day is not perfect, but you embrace that imperfectness, and so that you can shape yourself and live for you, and you can live for the people that you're gonna surround yourself with, and that is good, kind-hearted people.
Mm-hmm. You know, go ahead, Carrie. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I'm sorry.
I really appreciate it. And tell me, Trish, what your thoughts are. I appreciated the way Carrie talked about the challenges, but then turning the challenges into triumphs, and out of that, renewing herself. Because that's what you did. You didn't stay at the caterpillar stage and say, I'm stuck, what do I do next? You just kept moving right along, and then look at you now.
Yes, but I'm going to say this. It wasn't easy. I've had my moments. Mm-hmm. Trust me, ladies, I cried. I endured. And I just think, you know what? My day is going to come. I just don't know when. But I'm going to keep waking up, and I'm going to keep working on myself. Mm-hmm. And it's not easy, ladies and gentlemen. It's not easy. Mm-hmm. But when you know you're working on yourself, and you continue, it's going to show up. And when it show up, you just be ready for it. Mm-hmm. Just be ready for the show up, and the show up is the change. Yeah. And every day we are changing. Every day is a new experience. Every morning is a new sunrise and a new sunset. Mm-hmm. I love the... Go ahead. I'm sorry, Trish. Carrie. So I just tell everyone I love you. And I thank all y'all for listening to my story. You are loved from the bottom of my heart. You've always been my soul sister. You've always been. You know, your knowledge. Take that knowledge, Carrie, and keep passing it on. You know, when people come to us and they tell us their gooey and not so pleasant things, that says something about our character. Mm-hmm. Your energy. Because I find that with me, that people do that with me as well. And I go, why me? I'm stressed.
I'm stressed. Don't you think I have enough stress? This is me questioning myself. But then I'm just at an aha moment because I realize that's for a reason that's happening.
Yes.
And it's up to us to find the answers to that path that we're on.
That's
and
right.
I thank you, Carrie, just for tuning in. We're going to tag you in this.
Okay.
We're not going to keep this hidden.
Yes, that's fine with me.
I love your story about the pandemic. We were in the worst time of our life, and that had happened to you, and how you stood up and made a change for yourself. May we be that bold to be able to say, I'm not going to tolerate this, and I'm going to make a change. Thank you for that beautiful story. I could not let you tell that story without telling the detail of what happened.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. We appreciate you. And my hugs to you are tight. Give your love to your mother and tell her I've been so busy, but she's in my heart every day.
Yes.
She's in my heart. And we're going to make sure she gets this on YouTube, because we want her to understand. What'd you say? I didn't hear you. Karen? What'd you say?
But thank you very much.
What did you say before that? We didn't hear you.
No, it was just going in and out because you were saying something.
Oh, about the YouTube. We have a YouTube channel, so we want to make sure everybody gets connected and know that Vibe Talk is such a transformation. Vibe Talk is my story. It's my story. It's my strength. Of course, you've known me, so you could tell that story.
Yes.
But Vibe Talk is all about how I came through all the yucky stuff to get to this. This was not in my plan, but as it was happening, the pandemic brought out the best in people. So we can take a terrible situation and make it positive. I say to you, Carrie, in life and on your journey, fly your wings forever.
Yes. Thank you.
I love you, and thank you for doing that.
Yes.
And this was not planned.
No, I had just turned on my phone.
I love it. It was meant to be.
Yes.
It was.
And thank you, ladies and gentlemen. And I hope I touched each and every one of you. And just remember, say yes to yourself.
Mm-hmm. And that's what she meant when she explained her story. That's not selfish. That's self-caring.
Yes.
Because nobody is going to say yes to you. Nobody's going to say, go out there, do it. You have to take the initiative. Take your own wings and fly them.
Yes.
You know, I always say people talk about gaining angel wings when you die. I would rather live and gain the butterfly wings.
Yes.
Because it represents life. I can't do anything when I'm dead. I can do something while I'm alive, and that is to choose to take those butterfly wings and become free. And I think you've said that very well, Carrie.
Yes.
Thank you so much, baby.
You're welcome. I have to go because I have to take my grandson to school every. And thank you, and I love all you butterflies because we all are butterflies.
Yes, we are. I love you. Drive safely.
All right.
Bye, baby.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Wow, my heart is still fluttering. Speaking of butterflies, she did an amazing job. Whew, so powerful. Trish, what do you want to say? Anything?
It was a lot. Like, I was emotional. the entire time.
Me too.
It's like there's so much power in her story.
Yeah.
It just made me realize, that saying yes to me first, it's a must.
Yeah.
It's not like something that I can keep putting off. Because I do realize when, oh my goodness, I'm getting emotional again. When I do...
It's okay. We're all in our feelings.
Say yes to me first. I realized, like Carrie said, that she like realizes like sunsets, and she realizes the beautiful things in life. And that's me. Like when I say yes to myself, I can see the beautiful things and get my peace.
Yeah.
And it's like I'm addicted to like choosing other people before me.
Mm-hmm.
But when I don't, I just have to switch my my priorities to me,
Mm-hmm.
And I have to stop thinking it's a selfish way, because I try to stay humble with myself, but at the same time, like, it's hard for me to balance, well, is this selfish of me to choose me first, or is it self-caring? Like, that was always that's always a question for me, but I'm working on it.
And that's why I always follow that up with that self-caring. When we think of what we need to do in respects of acknowledging that we need to take care of something within us, we don't want to suffer and dismiss our feelings. We want to acknowledge our feelings. That's not putting ourselves in place of others. It's acknowledging how we feel. It's only then can we understand and have empathy and sympathize with the way that others feel. We must accept our own feelings. We must acknowledge. We must recognize that we are human and we have emotion. And I'll tell you what, so many people are disconnected. We want you to be connected to yourself. Because you can't give from yourself. You cannot pour from your own human cup or your human plate. And do you understand an abundance that you have? You can't pour from an empty cup. Let your cup runneth over. Because you can't offer someone a drink if you have nothing to drink from. Does that make sense to anybody out there? What do you think, Trish?
I think that makes a lot of sense, because something Carrie said about her mom, like, it really touched my heart. Like, I was bawling my eyes out. Because it's like my dad, he, oh my goodness, he always tries to be affectionate, as a father.
Yeah.
And he wasn't really taught that as a child.
Yes.
Sorry, he wasn't really taught that as a child, and
you have nothing to apologize for, baby. It's all you.
He's trying, when people say, "Oh, I wasn't, raised like that. It's easier said than done." Okay, but you can try though.
Yeah.
You can learn.
Yeah.
And instead of saying that as a statement as to like, oh, it's easier said than done, then I'm just stay stuck there because I'm too lazy to learn from that. You can, and you can try.
Yeah.
There's examples, that you can follow. And but at the end of the day, it's your choice if you want to do it or not. And my dad, he had a choice, to say, you know what, I'm going to do this way different from my father. And that's when he started, you know, he started giving us hugs and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that really touched my heart because I'm
You're
like,
gonna make
wow.
me cry.
He inspired me, like, I can be different. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. And just like Harry talks about the generation, like, you can switch the trauma from generation to generation.
Yeah, the generation curse, you can break it.
He's trying to paint that picture. Like, he's trying to be different from when he was taught younger. And, like, I'm grateful for that.
Yeah.
So, he's filling his own cup, and that's inspiring me to be like, okay, you know, it's your own cup. You don't have to follow anybody else's cup and design it like everybody else does. Mm-hmm. It's your cup, it's your drink, you know.
It's interesting that, and thank you for sharing that empowerment. I learned so much from you, Trish. Indeed, I do. With that being said, it's funny that you say about the cup, because we have to find our way. There's no certain way. We just have to find our way. We can't be stuck. You know, through all the messiness of the cocoon, it perfects itself in most cases to free that butterfly. We want you to access, I should say, your feelings, your emotions. This is what Vibe Talk is all about. Whether there's one person, two people, we are making the change because of stories like Carrie's and my co-host Trish. My story. We can add on to the knowledge really exerting empowerment into our lives. We learn from others. Stop being afraid to learn from others. Stop being jealous to get on board. Find out what people are doing to create themselves, to reinvent themselves. And why did I use the word jealous? Because a lot of times we may see somebody do something and we go, I wish I could do that. Fly your wings. Maybe you're not going to do it exactly like Trish or me or Carrie and other people, but you can do it like you. As you look at this picture, did you notice the variation of the butterflies? They're different colors. Go ahead, Trish.
I was going to say that. I was going to say, yes, we can learn from other people, but just like butterflies come in different colors and shapes, you know, we can do it our own way. We can learn our own way. And that's what makes everybody beautiful, because there's a variety of personality, a variety of character, and it's beautiful, and like variety of stories. Like it shapes people to how beautiful they can be.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm going to tell you guys, this has empowered me today. Everybody has a story. Every last one of us. We want to know your stories, not because we want to judge you. We want to know your stories because we know that it will provide empowerment, transitioning, and change. Change into your great, best self. That's why we want to know your stories. Some people have said, well, I've never told my story. That's why I wanted Carrie to tell her story about her transitioning. Because you see, something that could have been very ugly in life for her was a positive. Why? because she stood up for self-caring. Not selfishly, she's a very giving person. Self-caring has nothing to do with being selfish. You know what's selfish? When you don't take care of yourself and you pour from an empty cup. We all do it. Some of us are still doing it. When we just let others drink from our empty cups. Pour something into that cup. Pour yourself. And when you pour yourself out, replenish. That's all about self-caring. This has been Vibe Talk. And boy, has this been Transformation Tuesday. We're going to allow Trish to, and this is going to be a regular thing, be kind, because we're going to allow her to bring home points that she took away while she asked the last question of the day in closing. Go ahead, Trish. I turn it to you.
Change is beautiful, and the process, I know the process, it can be hard, it can be challenging, but after you get to the point that you want to get to, the mark that you want to get to, the finish line, and when you look at yourself, in the mirror, you're going to be like, wow, how did I get here? And you'll have others to ask you, I was there too. How did you make it? Don't be ashamed to tell your story, because you can help somebody else evolve into the beautiful butterfly that they are and that they already were. They just have to realize it. And you have to realize it too. And that benefits yourself and how you can help other people.
Mm-hmm. And we want Vibe Talk to be that. Thank you for those takeaway thoughts. We'll have that. In fact, Trish and I, we discussed that briefly yesterday. We're going to have Trish's Treasured Thoughts. I found a name, Trish. We're going to have her treasured thoughts, because we feel that that's important. This is not a one-man show. We want you to understand this and understand this clearly. It takes much to put this together. We could just talk about any old thing, but we want to talk about impactful things, powerful things, things in which will change your life for the best. Because we're forever evolving. Think about this as we close up. What if, during the transitioning of the caterpillar into the butterfly was never freed from the cocoon? Nobody will ever know. But in human language, we can be like that butterfly, never taking the natural process to change, to be at risk, to take a risk, to take leadership, to use her voice, to sing, to dance, to accept life, to adjust to the things that happen to life, if we don't free ourselves. We'll never know. I love the point about our interviewer, Carrie, talking about free, being free. You don't have to be trapped. A lot of people come in here and they refuse. They feel like if they say how they feel that they're going to be trapped. How will you ever know? If your quest is for freedom in your emotion, in your mental state, in your physical state. You must let life happen. After all, how will you know that you have butterfly wings if you never tell your story? Take your wings, fly them, free yourself from your pain. Learn to reinvent yourself as the caterpillar does by natural process. We have Jehovah God to thank for that. It's so amazing, I could talk about it forever. If he has made an insect to transform and change, what do you think he expects from us? We should be expecting it from ourselves, change, because nothing stays the same. This has been Transformation Tuesday. We thank you. Trish, thank you so much. I realize you're having a weather storm. Had it the other night, so I get you. But your voice is so important. And I thank every one of you. Trish, you want to close us out with a question? And don't forget, include the states, please, and thank you.
What have you learned or discovered about yourself today, and what was your experience like here today? And states we had today were Palmdale, California, Nevada, and South Carolina.
Yeah.
And country, Southeast Asia.
Yeah, how about that? We just been all over the place in one sitting. I love these virtual meets. I hope that we get a chance to meet together this week for Wednesday Wellness. Looking forward to that. We have some things that we're going to be talking about, and we have some art projects. If you want to know what the art project is, just hit us up on Vibe Talk. You can inbox me on Facebook or on Instagram under the same name but Vibe_talk. And even YouTube, Direct Connect will send you our project because we're going to start our Wednesday Wellness and expression through art. We're going to be working on some fun things. That starts tomorrow, so anybody that's here, you're all invited. It's free. Don't forget to share this with people that you know and love. Send it to the people that you find challenging as well. Don't be stingy and just send it to people you like and love. Send it to the ones that you're not so happy with. Because you never know how you'll change life. This is Transformation Tuesday, and I'll tell you what I discovered about myself, that I'm possible through change. And when change happens, we don't, like the butterfly, doesn't say, how come you changed me from a caterpillar to a butterfly? It accepts it, and it is free to fly. That's what I've discovered. Very emotional here, very touching, and very empowering is how I felt today. I want to thank you once again for joining in. Please tag someone you know, love, and even those who you don't know and who you might find challenging. Someone somewhere will get this podcast. That's all we want. We want someone to get it to change their life. You can still answer the question of the day. What changes? What have you had to change in your life? Because don't fool yourself. You've had to make some kind of a change. We want you to share that. Better vibes. Good morning and thank you. Trish, what is the question? We got one more. We got a chance for one more person. Better vibe. Trish, what's the question? Good morning.
The question is, what have you changed?
What have you changed in your life? What changes have you made in your life? This whole podcast has been recorded as it is every day. Find and follow us on Facebook at vibe-talk. Don't forget the dash. We're there. And what state are you listening in from? Good vibes. Vibes. What state? Better vibe. Vibes. What state are you listening in from, please, and thank you. And thank you for joining us. We're here every day. In case you missed the podcast, Texas. In case you missed the podcast, I want to let you know it's being recorded live. You can catch it live. All about making transition so that you can take your wings and fly. I want every one of you to have a great day. I send you love and light to you and yours. And if you have any questions or if you've come at this podcast and you're hearing it now, go and interact with it because your story is going to inspire. And listen to our live interview. Thank you, Carrie, for your story, your energy. Thank you, thank you. And thank you, Trish, for all that you do for Vibe Talk. We will see you right back here tomorrow on Wednesday Wellness. You want to get well? You want to be well? And stay well? Join us right back here tomorrow. We'll see you then. Thanks, everybody, as I find our intro done by none other than Trish. Thank you for that, Trish. Or outro, I should say. Love and light, everybody. I wish you more transitioning and change.